Hey students, it's time to learn the bishop at knight checkmate. This is one of the most difficult endgames that you have to learn, but I'm going to show you how it can be easy to learn and also easy to remember whenever you need it. This, just like the two bishops checkmate, you're not going to get it often, but when you do, you have to know how to execute it. So we're going to get to it, and after I teach you how to do it, I'm going to demonstrate it versus a chess engine. That way you see that what I'm teaching you actually works, and then you could use that same engine to practice at home. The first thing to keep in mind is that we have to pay attention to our bishop. If we want to checkmate that king, we have to make sure that we push him to a corner that is the same color of our bishop. So in this case, I know that I'm only going to checkmate this king on this corner or this corner. So the defensive side is going to try to go to the dark corners because they know they cannot be checkmated there. So rule number one, we need our opponent's king on one of the corners that are the same color as our bishop. So from this position, when you start cornering the king, they could go to the square that you want him to go to, or to the corner that you want him to go to, or he could go to the opposite square, and that's fine. So I'm going to teach you how to checkmate him if he goes here or here, and I'm going to show you how to drag him from one of these corners to the corners that you want him to go. So let's get started. I'm going to show you the first position. And here we have it. So this is in the case that the king gets to the corner that is the same color as our bishop. So I'm going to show you how to do this checkmate. Once we get this, I'm going to bring you to this other position. And as you can see here, he is on a corner that is not the same color as my bishop. But there's a very easy method to drag him from this corner to one of the corners that we want him to go to. And that's going to be our second part. Once you learn how to checkmate on the right corner, you're going to learn how to drag him from one corner to the other. And finally, I'm going to teach you how to get to this position from the original position, which is this one over here. So as you can see, I'm going to teach you backwards. That way, when you get to the corners, it is going to be familiar territory for you. So trust me, by the end of this lesson, you're going to have everything you need in order to deliver this checkmate. Okay, so here we have the final position. How do we checkmate once we get here? As you can see, he's already cornered. He only has two squares that he could go to, and he's on the corner which is the same color as our bishop. So we have checkmate in 3 moves, guys, forced. And this is something that you could do by just calculating. I know you can come up with the answer, but it's good that you actually memorize the pattern. Whenever I get to this position, all I need to do is make sure that my knight goes to the edge next to my king. And that's going to allow me to control this dark square. The knight is going to control the dark square that the bishop can't. So this knight has to get here, and then the bishop is going to be checkmated on this diagonal. So that's why we needed the king to be on the light square corner. So how do I do that? Well, how can my knight go from here to the edge next to my king? It's going to take 2 moves. I'm going to go here, and from there I go to a6. So knight c5, he's forced to go here. And now the important thing is that when my knight gets here, he's going to get here with a check. And you're going to see what I mean. So check. He's forced to go to a8 and finally checkmate. So this is all it takes. Now, whenever you get to this position, many people are going to be like, okay, how do I do it? Many people try to put the knight on c6. But if you do, then my bishop cannot get onto this diagonal. That's why he needs to be away from this diagonal. Now, I said before that we needed the knight to get here with a check. And let me tell you what I mean. Let's say that in this position, it was black to move, and they go here. And now I try to do the same thing. So I go here. When he gets in, now if I do this move, this is going to be stalemate. So I need the knight to get in with a check. But that's no problem, because what we're going to do is we're going to do a tempo. We learned this in the 2 bishops checkmate. So whenever we are out of sync, we're going to do a tempo with the bishop. So right now he moved to b8. That's fine. I'm getting ready to do my checkmate. He goes over here, and I realize I'm applying common sense that if I just go to a6, it's going to be stalemate. So I know I want to get it there with a check, so I just do a tempo. So I put the bishop anywhere on this diagonal except for c8. So I'm going to go back here, still controlling c8 so that he can never escape. And when he goes to b8, now I come in with the check. He goes here, and finally checkmate. So this is it, guys. Just to make sure that you get it, I'm going to transfer this to a different corner. So I'm going to put him on this corner. I'm going to bring the king here, and this is how it is. So let's say I get to this position, and it's my turn. So what do I have to put the knight? This knight needs to control the dark square that the bishop can't, and he needs to do it from the edge next to the king. So how do I get there? Well, knight f4, only move, then I come in here with a check, and then checkmate. If, again, it was black to move first and he gets here, I'm going to do the same move, but then I realize this is not check, this is going to be stalemate. So I do my tempo with the bishop, and then check, followed by checkmate. So you see, you already got the final position. Now, whenever I teach you the first steps and we get here, you're going to know exactly how to finish it. So let's get now to the other stage. All right, so let's say we started pushing the king and he knew that he was going to get checkmated if he went to the light corner. So he went to a dark corner. So how do we get him from here all the way to one of the light corners? Well, this is actually, guys, the tricky part. This is why people say this is confusing, this is so difficult to remember, but you will see that we're going to make it work. The first thing is we need to get to the ideal position. This is what I call the ideal position, and if you get familiar with this, this is going to be enough. So first, I need to control that square that he wants to stay in, and the only piece that could do it is my knight. It doesn't matter where my knight is, he's going to have to go to one of these squares to control h8. So it's up to you. The only thing to keep in mind is that if you put the knight on f7, then that means you're going to be dragging him to this corner. If you put him on f7, then the knight is closer to this edge, so that means you're going to be dragging him to this corner. It doesn't really matter. It's going to be a personal choice. I'm going to choose to go to f7, check, and he's forced to go to g8. Just like that, I'm dragging him from here. You're going to see how we push him all the way to this corner, little by little. Our job is to control this square, then this square, and this, and so on. So after he did this, I need to control this square with my bishop, but I can't. So what do I do? Whenever I'm out of sync, I'm going to do a tempo. So I just do a waiting move. So I'm going to go back here. He's forced to go to f8, and now it's perfect for me to go to h7. Look at this technique. We talked about waiting moves in the two bishop checkmate, and it's good that you get the hang of it. So again, I wanted to go here, I couldn't, so I have to wait. I do the waiting move just by wasting a move on this diagonal. He moves, and then I get here. Now, guys, you have to take a mental picture of this position. This is what I call the ideal position. From here, everything is going to start. It's going to repeat over and over and over until this king gets to the corner. Remember this because you're going to have to recreate it. When the king is over here, you're going to recreate it all the way to the end. So we're going to recreate this position, and that's going to help us get the checkmate. From here, it's my opponent's to move. So look at this. King in front of the king with the knight in the middle, and the bishop is over here 2 squares away from the knight. So the bishop is helping to push him to this corner. Now you're going to see when the king moves, this is the only square he has. I'm going to do what we call knight out, knight in. That's it. So knight out, knight in. What does that mean? This knight is going to be doing this. Knight out, knight in. Knight out, knight in. And that's how he's going to help us do the checkmate. And the knight is going to lead this dance. So the first move is knight out. Then the king could go to here or here. Like I said before, he's going to try to stay away from this corner. So he might have to go to f8 if he wants to delay this. However, some people might try to go here and just try to escape. So you need to know both. For now, we're going to focus on f8. Then we're going to go back to this position, and I'm going to show you what to do if it goes to d8. But let's get this one under control first. So if he tries to go back to this corner, then again, knight out, knight in. So the knight is going to go in. He's forced to go to e8. Then I cannot leave the king there by himself. So the moment the knight gets attacked, the king comes to the rescue. Then only move, and my king comes to do old position again. So see, this is very important in the ideal position. So they're facing each other again with the knight in the way. But there's something else. If you apply common sense, you're going to realize that the king is about to escape. So we need to bring the king over here. Now, if the king tries to go back, check, he's forced to go back here, and guess what? I repeated the ideal position. King in front of the king with the knight in the way, and the bishop is 2 squares away from the knight. We had it here, then it repeated again, and we're going to repeat it one more time if we want to make this work. The king runs away, knight out. So remember, after we had the ideal position and he runs away, the knight goes to get him. Knight out, knight in, and now the knight is in trouble, the king comes to help. He has to get in front to repeat the ideal position and to prevent this king from escaping. Then if he tries to escape or not, it doesn't really matter. If he goes here, we're gonna go check, and we repeat it. If he had gone over here, doesn't matter. We go here, and we put it over here. Now, some people might tell you guys at this stage, you don't have to repeat the ideal position, but do it. It's not gonna fail. If you get it done like this, it's not going to fail. So it doesn't hurt if you do it. So after we got to the ideal position again, you should know this position. I already told you. So the king has to move, and now we have the checkmate in 3 moves. He's already at the corner. We have to get the knight over here. So we go here, check, and then checkmate. And we just drag the king from the dark corner all the way to the light corner. The next step is going to be, I'm going to go all the way back, because when we had the ideal position and he went away and we did knight out, ready to do knight in, you learn how to do it if he tries to go back all the way. But what if he tries to escape? Now, before we continue to this second part, I wanted to remind you that you're going to see me demonstrate all of it together afterwards. You're going to have the time to practice yourself. So if you feel like this is going to be too much to remember, don't worry, it's all going to come together when you practice. So in this variation, when the king goes to d8 to escape, is when we really have to remember the concept of knight out, knight in. We already did knight out, and we need to do knight in no matter what. But as you can see, he's going to be captured. That's why we take just one single move to bring the king to help. Normally we bring him in right after he goes knight out, but we can't. So we bring the king, and this is a good way to remember. He cannot go in, so we bring the king quickly, but then soon after we move the king, he needs to go in. We cannot do 2 moves in between knight out and knight in. Just one when it's necessary. And here, if he tries to escape, no matter what, we're going to do knight in. And it looks like he might escape, but he won't. So let me go back again. If he tries to run away, we do knight out, and he comes back. Knight in comes very easily. If he tries to escape, we cannot do knight in. We bring the king, that's the only thing we need, and soon after we do knight in. From here, like I said, it looks like he's going to escape, but he won't. We have a very easy way to cut him off. The only exit he has right now is a light square, and that's when our bishop comes in. The knight is taking care of these two. The bishop comes in to cut him off. He's forced now to go here or here. If he goes to c7, well, we cut him off again with the bishop. So we cut off the light squares. If instead he goes here, well, we have to bring the king. We know that. So we almost got the ideal position. I know we're far from it, but this is just to help you remember that the king needs to come over and help. So at this point, either he goes back down, trying to escape through here, or he's going to stay at the corner. If he goes over here to the corner, that's it. He's already cornered with our king and the bishop. He has to go there. He's at the corner that we need him, and you should know how to do this checkmate. So calculate it. Try to remember it. It doesn't matter. Just to show you, I'm going to go here with check, check. See, knight next to the king at the edge. So this is the edge that he can go to be next to the king. And then we finish him off. If instead he had gone, instead of going to the corner, he's trying to escape again. Here we have to cut him again with the bishop. So look at this. The bishop is taking care of his exits. And then there's only one move he could do. And now look, this is almost the ideal position. We're going to go try to look for it. You could look for the ideal position by going here and then here, or by going here and then here. At this point, the most effective move is to go over here because you're already where you need to be. But just to show you, even if you do the move that is not the best, even if you go here and he tries to escape, well, I'm ready to do the ideal position. I can't. I do the waiting move. I go, let's say, here, and then I get to my ideal position. I'm trying to make as much emphasis as I can on the ideal position. Even if you find ways to make it easier, just know that the ideal position will never fail. So if you feel like confused or lost, just try to figure out this ideal position. So from here, he tries to escape, knight out. He goes away. We cannot do knight in, so we bring the king. And if he goes back, knight in. That's it. He goes over, we bring the king to help. If he goes back trying to escape, the bishop comes in, and we repeat the ideal position. So again, guys, we had the ideal position here, here, and then here. From this position, then we know the checkmate. He's already at the corner. You know how to finish this. My knight needs to get to the edge next to the king. So I go here. I'm coming in with a check, and then the checkmate. All right, like I said before, I'm going to show you how we get now from the very beginning to any of the corners. And then when we wrap that up, you're going to see me demonstrate everything together. So let's get to the last part. Alright, so now that you know all of the difficult part, this is the initial position. This is where everything starts. And you should know, guys, that most people are just going to go straight to the corner that they know they're going to be safe in. So you don't even have to corner them or anything like that. They're going to go there and wait for you to drag them from that corner to the corner you want them to be on. And you know how to do that. But in case they don't do that, there are two ways that you could set your pieces to make sure that you corner him. There's one that I use and there's one that is recommended. The recommended one is that you put your pieces on the central squares. So your bishop is light, he's going to be here, the knight is going to be on the other light square to be protected by the bishop, and then the king is going to be here or here. Typically he wants to be on the square that is closer to his opponent's king. So I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to bring my king first. Let's say he stays in the center. Now I bring my bishop, my knight, my bishop is already in the center, then my knight. And notice how the bishop and the knight, they are controlling these three squares. So you're creating like a wall that limits your opponent's king. If he goes, let's say here, well, now I bring my king. Notice he's not going to go to this corner. He knows that he can't. He's going to try to come back out, and that's going to be very easy. At that point, you're already cornering the king. Now, the one that I use, and this is not really a method or anything like that, I just bring my king and try to shoulder his king towards the corner. So I just do this part of bringing the king up. So let's say something like this, and now I'm just, of course I'm going to bring the bishop, so I'm going to try to keep track of that, but see here he's not going to go there, he's just going to start going down, and I don't even bring the knight, I just keep taking opposition. So if you try and you cannot push him to the edges or to the corner, then do what I told you earlier. But for me it's just way easier to just use opposition and try to corner him away. So he needs to make a decision here or here. For the most part they're going to go towards this corner that they know is going to be safe for them. So then I could continue. You see, I'm already putting pressure on them. I'm not going to spend much time on this part. I'm going to go straight and demonstrate by playing a chess engine. That way you can see how I do it. And at that point, everything is going to click, everything is going to come together. So if you're not familiar with this website, I'm leaving the link in the description for you to click on it and create an account and use it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to puzzles, then drills, and under checkmates, I'm going to choose the one that says bishop and knight. Now you could use bishop and knight the edge first, and this is basically going to take it from here. They're going to have you play versus an engine, and it's going to be from this position. But I'm going to go back, drills, then checkmates, and I'm going to choose the one that is actually from the very beginning. So as you can see, it's completely different to what I showed you. I have to find a way to corner this king. So first I'm going to start by bringing my king out. So I'm going to bring my bishop. I just want to start from the very beginning, my pieces as far as I can. So now I'm going to start shouldering that king. So I'm going to bring my king. All right. Now if I want it, I could put my bishop here and my knight here. So let me, you know what, let me start trying to do that, just in case we get a little bit confused. I'm going to bring my knight. Then, look, he gave me the opportunity to bring my king in, so I'm going to keep doing that. Okay, so I'm going to keep bringing my king. Forget about what I said earlier. Then, maybe bring my knight. Okay, let me put it back. You see, whenever I feel confused, like here, I'm going to do what I said earlier. Let me put them next to each other, and this king would never be able to get close to them. So now, look, this is what I said earlier, so at the end I had to do it. So now he's going that way, and I need to find a way to corner him. Here he's helping me, because he's getting himself to that corner. This is going to be easier than I expected. So my king is coming after him and shouldering him. Now, I still have the wall, so let me go here. Now my king comes after him. He has to corner himself. And I'm glad it happened this way, because you saw it didn't go as smoothly, but still I'm able to make it work. So look, he got to one of the corners. That's exactly what I needed. And now from here, guys, I need to control that corner. So my knight needs to get to c2 or to b3. I need to get to this square in order to get there. Or I could just go c5 and b3. So I think I'm going to go c5. Let me see. See, he's trying to go there. He's welcome to do that. I want to make it easy to remember for you. So maybe I just bring, I want to put my knight on c2. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to go check. So I bring my knight. Now he's over here. Perfect. Notice how he's never going to go there by himself. He wants me to drag him over, and that's fine. So I almost got the ideal position, but my bishop cannot get there yet. And you should remember the waiting move. So I'm going to wait, and the moment he moves, I'm going to be able to get in there. So there we go. Now he's on the run, and you know who's going to lead the dance. So the moment he gets on the run, the knight goes after him. So let's see if he chooses to go to escape. Yeah, he's trying to escape. I want to do knight in, but I can't, so the king comes in quickly. Then my knight comes. So knight out, knight in happened. Now he's trying to escape through here. My bishop is going to take care of that escape square. So I do that. Then he's trying to do that. Look, I cannot even go in. My bishop and my knight are where they have to be. So I wish it was his turn. So how do I do it? Well, waiting move. Now he's gonna have to let me come in, or he allows me to cut him off even more. So the knight and the bishop force him to do that. Now my king comes in. If he gets here, he's really close to the ideal position. He did it. So I could go here right now, and that's perfect, but just to try to force the ideal position. Okay, so he's trying to go back. I'm going to do my waiting move. And the ideal position is here again. So here we go, guys. King in front of the king with the knight in between, and the bishop is 2 squares away from the knight. So he's on the run. Knight goes after him. He's trying to come back. We know what to do. Knight in is going to be even easier. So knight out, knight in. Then the king comes over to help. The king is going to not only come over to repeat the ideal position, but I need to prevent him from escaping. So the king takes care of that, and he's going back. The bishop repositions itself. Ideal position one last time, and finally he's at the edge, or at the corner that we want him to be at. So how do we do the checkmate? The knight has to be on the edge next to the king. So I go here, check, and finally the checkmate. So we got it done, guys. I'm really glad that it didn't go really smoothly, because that way you can see how you can fix it in case things go a little bit weird. Like always, let me know if you have any questions. Put them in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to reply to you. If you're still having difficulties, go over this video again and make sure that you correct any little mistakes that you might be making. With that said, I'll see you guys next class.